Hello guys, my name is S1REN with Offensive Security, and we are here for another stream. And if you are watching this on YouTube, feel free to jump ahead about 20 minutes, and that's where we'll begin. We always start these streams about 20 minutes early, just to make sure that the community has time to download it, that they can trickle in, and so on and so forth. Also, I can answer any questions you might have in the chat. I see people trickling in. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to tell your friends, now's a good time, that Offensive Security is live, and spread the word. No harm, no foul. I'm going to paste a link to the VulnHub machine. Welcome, I think I pronounced this right, Wal Exam. Welcome, Well, very much. And there's the link to the machine. If you would like to download it, I've provided that in the chat. A first-time chat from Diskins. Hello, Diskins, and welcome. We've just started here. We're going to give people about 20 minutes to trickle in before we begin. If you guys have any questions for me, any questions for Offensive Security, I will do my best to answer them. If I cannot answer them, then I will definitely point you in the right direction. I love that emoji. It's like one of those old fans that we used to have, except it's a heart instead. Welcome everybody. If you are unfamiliar with who we are, this is Offensive Security, and my name is S1REN. We are educators, and we educate. I know we're under the science and technology portion of twitch.tv. You'll have to excuse my cat if you hear them meowing. But welcome, welcome, and we educate east to west. So even if you're new to this and you aren't familiar, yes, not MHM says, your cat is part of the team. I couldn't agree more. Very much. All I ever hear, when he meows, it just sounds like he's saying, wow, or something like that. So that's all I hear. Yeah, even if you are unfamiliar with ethical hacking and penetration testing, then this kind of stream will be very beneficial, at least to get your feet wet and understand the types of methodologies that we employ in the field. I'm going to drop the link to download it again. Welcome, first-time chatter from Prosecco. That flows off the tongue. Welcome, Odinger75. Welcome, welcome, buddy. Glad to have you. First time chat from Compromat. Welcome, Compromat. Welcome. Howdy. So for me, my local time, and it may be off a couple minutes, but it's 4:47 p.m. So, and that's Eastern. We got about 13 more minutes for everybody to sit down, so to speak, to download the machine, launch it up in VirtualBox, and get their note-taking platform of choice open. And then we will start the business. So, welcome. Glad to have you. No thing. No, the way you spell that. No things. The user 333 says hello. Welcome, the user. Welcome. Can't help but wonder if that individual is related to the mind from the InfoSec Prep Discord. Either way, welcome, buddy. If you or your buddies, your friends are getting into information security, maybe they're programmers, maybe they're web developers, maybe they're sysadmins, and you want to refer them to the right thing, then just send them the stream. And if they miss it, that's fine. For that very reason, if you're unable to make it, your friends are unable to make it, we make sure that each and every recording from twitch.tv is uploaded to the official Offensive Security YouTube channel. So you can always go on there and you can always watch. Or rewatch. Today, though, we will be doing Healthcare 1. That is Healthcare: 1. It's available on our website, VulnHub. So Offensive Security owns a couple of platforms. We have the Google Hacking Database, obviously offensivesecurity.com, the Exploit Database, and we also own VulnHub. VulnHub is a rich user platform where individuals can upload vulnerable machines. This machine is one of the machines listed in TJ Null's OSCP Prep. That is TJ Null's Offensive Security Certified Professional Preparation or Preparatory List. That is a separate Google Excel spreadsheet that has a whole bunch of categorized OSCP Prep machines, and this is one of them. So we're very happy to have you. I may have to get up during the stream at some point and let the cat in if the meowing gets too bad. So forgive me if that's the case. I live in a small apartment and I have pets. That's right. TGIF, new machine, new stream. JX Crow. Welcome to the stream, JX Crow. Welcome back. And we're glad to have you, man, as always. You going to be following along today? Presumably, yes. Presumably, yes. We have another... We'll give it 10 minutes just in case my clock is off. Only a spectator. That's totally fine, man. Even if you don't follow along, or even if you don't provide, even as a spectator, you can provide suggestions, attack vectors. Me doing a machine so quickly is not going to teach you guys very much. So I make sure that we get the community directly involved and no matter what type of attack it is that ends up being carried out by me, that it was suggested by the community as an attack vector or a realistic attack scenario. Presetto says, is there any official list of machines for the OSCP? Yeah. The closest, I'm just going to tell you, man, the closest thing we have to a list of machines for the OSCP, I assume you mean in preparation. If you mean in preparation, like that question I get a lot is usually geared towards prep. If you're talking about the prep, then there is TJ Null's OSCP prep list. Type that into Google. You will receive a Google Excel spreadsheet, and it'll contain a whole list of them. This is one of those machines, actually. If you guys are just browsing along Twitch and you've never heard of offensive security in your life, welcome. We're glad to have you. We take security very seriously. And it runs deep in our veins. Very, very deep. So in our veins. So welcome. And hopefully you enjoy the stream. About another 7 minutes. Please, please, if you have any questions, that is why I start this early. Usually people have questions. It's the end of the week, you know. They want to grab a drink, follow along. Diskin says, is the TJ Null list enough to be prepared? Is it? Is it not? That's a good question. To answer your question, Diskins, I think it's pretty close. If you come in with even half of those machines, or even a quarter of those machines solved, then you're in a good boat. You have to remember, yes, we are teaching ethical hacking, but at its roots, this is really very scientific. It's computer science, and you're going to be learning a lot of fundamental computer scientific concepts. So if you can even hack a quarter of those machines, man, if you can grease a quarter of those machines, then by the time you get your materials for the OSCP or the PWK, Pen 200, I think you are putting yourself in an optimal position. A very optimal position, indeed. First time chat from Robotic Geisha. How does TJ Null's list match up with the new OSCP exam with Active Directory? I declined to comment on that one. I declined to comment pretty much on anything geared towards the exam. If you have any questions related towards the examination, please, by all means, email us, if you like, at orders@offensivesecurity.com. That is orders@offensive-security.com. So that's a fantastic question. Not MHM asks, I've not received this one before, but I would be happy to answer. Not MHM asks, off-topic question. What's the history of the offensive security logo? The man in the door. That is a beautiful question. And I think we can all see it from maybe a few different interpretations, if you will. I think it's open to interpretation. The way I see it is, at least the first take, when I ever saw the brand new offensive security logo a long time ago, I thought of like somebody had stepped into a server room, so to speak, that was where the lights were off, and there was a white light behind them. So that's kind of what I saw. you may also interpret it as shedding light on something that's very dark, right? Shedding light on something that is not very well understood. And obviously a human there to help you. So there are a lot of ways to interpret it, but that's at least the way I see it. Robotic Geisha says, what I mean is, are there Active Directory boxes or networks on the TJNull list? I'm pretty sure there are, actually. If you want to hit him up or just ask, even, I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but I think he told me recently that there was a few AD machines that got added to that. If you're curious, you can also sign up to our Proving Grounds platform. It's only $20 a month, and you have so many machines at your disposal, straight from Offensive Security, straight from us. Fingers to the keys, straight from us. And we have quite a bit of Active Directory under the Practice tab, which you would gain access to. So if you're looking to work on your AD, then by all means, jump into Proving Grounds. And another question here from JX Crow. Okay, I asked this last time, but we were already starting, so second time is the charm. How did you end up red teaming? And from the moment you realized that's something you'd like, how long did it take you to make the decision to change your career path? Not long. I would say minutes, maybe seconds. It was a very, it made sense. It wasn't like I'm changing so much of my career path, as it is resurfacing a desire for proactive security, right? In the world. So for me, going into red teaming was it was a blast, and I certainly learned a great deal, and I got to work with some extremely, extremely talented people, top tier, top shelf. So it was a gift. I was really humbled by it. First time chatter, Nissamigon. Nissamigon says hi. Welcome, Nissamigon. Tranquil Rage says morning and evening all. Good morning and evening. So about another minute or two, and then we're going to start, guys. Again, we're doing Healthcare 1. First time chat from Plants says, yay, made it for the first time to the live stream. Welcome, buddy. Welcome, Plants. Jester Juco says, were you patching PoonKit and PKXit and OffSec materials this week? I declined to comment. On that one. Honest to God, there's been a lot of things that have been worth patching. If you've been paying attention, then there's a lot of things that have been worth patching. Nicholas Jar says, remembering backtrack, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. I agree, my friend. Alfred, thanks, S1REN. You are welcome, Alfred, and welcome back to the stream, buddy. Yeah, there's always something to patch, am I right? But sometimes, just sometimes, there are distro global privesks, and sometimes they hit, and it affects everybody. Sometimes there are two that strike within 6 weeks of each other. And that is the reality of things. But I am going to load up my computer here. I have everything exported. And one more comment, not MHM, says use Rust instead of C, I guess, regarding PKExec. All right, guys. All right, I got Burp Suite open. I'm going to minimize that and switch the source. As always, you'll see that I have created a directory for the target machine. It's called Healthcare1. I've exported the IP address as an environment variable, and I've already exported the URL to be used with fuzzing tools, so on and so forth. We're pretty much ready to go, guys. We're pretty much ready to go. So the way this works is I'm going to do an Nmap scan, and then we're going to get it into Cherry Tree. We're going to get it into Cherry Tree. We're going to paste it in under Nmap results, and then once I do a little bit of highlighting, we'll go over the ports, and we'll start going over community attack vectors, or our to-try list. So we're going to do an nmap -p- to signify to Nmap that we would like to cover all 65,535 ports. We're going to run simple scripts against it, and we also want to perform a TCP banner grab. We're going to check for service version with -sv. We're also going to target our target IP as an environment variable here, which we've exported. It's going to be different for you because this is a VirtualBox instance. Machines within machines within machines. And we're going to tack on --open. That way we're only concerned with open ports. I'm going to hit the return key and let it fly. All right, so already we've gotten back quite a lot, which is pretty cool. We've gotten back ports 21 and 80. So however we get into this machine, it's going to be through those ports. One of those two. That's the cool thing about downloading a pre-existing known vulnerable machine, is that you know for a fact one of those ports is going to be your way to entry. So we're going to load that Nmap scan right into here for convenience. I'm going to do some highlighting. Some trimming. Host is up. I know that. I don't need to know about all those closed ports. There we go. Much more condensed, right? Easier on the eyes. And we have FTP on 21. It looks like Pro FTPD. We worked with that recently. I wonder if mod copy is enabled. I wonder. That might be worth checking. Or if we can get anonymous login. Just when I see Pro FTPD, that's what comes to mind. HTTP. It looks like PC Linux OS 2011 pre-fork. And HTTP robots is present on the target web server on port 80. And title of the landing page is coming soon, so probably a default or something, maybe something under construction. We'll see. We don't know much about the target OS yet, honestly. We don't have an SSH banner grab. But the truth is, service OS information, simple scripts, we could actually, let's learn a little bit. How do we want to do that? If we want to target the machine and learn a little bit about the operating system, we can do an nmap -o at the target IP. And just do that. Yeah, I noticed it says tray walkthrough. I'm going to fix that after the stream. For some reason, Twitch likes to do that. It like pre-names it for me or something. But I'll definitely get to that later so that we don't have any stall time. OS detection results were performed, or OS detection performed. Guessing Linux kernel 2638. So that's what it's guessing. So I'm just going to go up here and say that our target OS is at least Linux. Okay? And we have our target IP. Now that we've done that, we've got our Nmap scan done, let's go ahead and load up the ports up here, 21, 80, and I'm going to start taking suggestions from you guys, directly from the community. What are some things that, with this, that we want to check for with port 21? Let's rock and roll, shall we? Let's rock and roll. I want to start seeing some suggestions. Port 21, what are we going to do? FTP and on it. Okay. Anonymous access. Anonymous. Absolutely. All right. What else might we want to check? What do we notice? That's right, Zardox. So I noticed ProFTPD. Based on my experience, I think ProFTPD might be compatible with mod copy. So maybe checking for mod copy against a target known file, such as etc password, right? See if that kind of stuff exists. You know, if we do have anonymous access, can we upload? Download? That's another suggestion from Plants. All right. Vulnerable versions for check. Absolutely. So the exploit database. Mitra, etc. for CVEs. Any verified code is definitely something that we want to check. So with that being said, I think we have enough here. Let's check for anonymous access. Well, we'll do that by typing FTP to the target IP. That's all we got to do. And then we're going to type in anonymous, password anonymous, and the login is incorrect. Remote system type is Unix. Okay, so we've at least enumerated something about this machine. Very lightweight, and that it is running, our target is Unix. But we don't have any, it says ProFTPD default installation. I'm going to take that back, any information that I can get. I noticed that is there, you know. So default installation. Someone says try no password. All right. Anonymous, no password. 530 login incorrect. Good checks. Default admin login. Is there a default admin login, guys, for ProFTPD? Might have to check. For the time being, though, let's search the exploit database for ProFTP. So the security track record for ProFTP daemon is not too snazzy. In fact, here's that mod copy that I was talking about. Unfortunately, we don't have anonymous access to be able to test that kind of thing. Unless we get, it becomes on the back burner, you know what I mean? Because unless someone says admin, I mean FTP IP admin, login incorrect. Still worth a try though, absolutely. You don't have to update the exploit database. Remember, the exploit, offensive security's exploit database, our database is an archive, guys, going way back. Super way back, of all verified weaponized code. So you don't really have to update too often. I update maybe 5-6 times a year, and that's fine with me, you know what I mean? That's like once every 2 months. I'll update and do a big pull. Yep, hope that answers your question, 0xgrem. So, ProFTPD 1.3.3. Looking around, I do see a 1.3.3c compromised source, backdoor remote code execution. And that looks pretty snazzy, but that's 1.3.3c. And we haven't really enumerated out that it's C just yet. Still, nonetheless, just as a reminder, you know, I'm a penetration tester. I gotta move on. We gotta move on with things. I'm just gonna put it here. You know, question mark, dash, this. Is it maybe this? And we're gonna grab this, and I'm actually gonna put it underneath up here. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna keep things nice and condensed. All right, what are some suggestions for port 80? What do we think when we think web? Manual inspection of source. Absolutely. Manual inspection. View the source, Luke. And what else? All right, so wfuzz, gobuster, yes. So file and directory busting. What are some other things? Nicto. Okay, I'll take that. Nicto. What are some other things we might be able to do? Checking for robots. DC stores, SVN entries, whatever it might be. A bajillion. Realistically, our sec list will be able to find those kinds of things when we're doing our directory fuzzing and file discovery. It'll be able to find those things. Enum for Linux is not going to work on port 80, but great suggestion. I appreciate the oomph there. So let's go ahead and begin. I am going to echo out my URL environment variable. And you'll notice that I have /fuzz. We're going to use wfuzz. And I have no trailing /. That's because we're looking for files. So I'm just going to load up my pre-existing command for files, do some explanation. We're saying wfuzz, I want color in the output. Our input method is going to be via file. Separate with a comma, and I have it in opt, seclists, discovery, web content, raft large files.txt. I don't want 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000 erroneous responses. I will exclude 404, or I will hush codes 404. And we're going to do that against our target URL. With that being done, we're going to hit that up and zip. Down here, I'm going to echo out my URL in the bottom terminal. And I'm going to paste the same command in. I'm just going to change files to directories, raft large directories, and still excluding 404s on the target URL. This one, though, has a trailing /. That means we're looking for directories. So let's hit that up. Already seeing quite a few interesting things coming back. phpMyAdmin, icons. Very cool. We're going to let all this finish. And it looks like a bunch of erroneous responses with the size of 999 bytes. In fact, I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to do a little bit of education. So let's say, even with excluding 404s, that we considered 999 bytes to be bad. We're going to instead, after suppressing 404 codes, we also want to suppress a specific number of bytes returned in the response. So I'm going to type --HH 999. So anytime 999 comes back, I know that's just going to be erroneous. So that time we'll send that through. I'm going to open up a web browser and determine what an erroneous response size might look like at 192.168.171. And let's go to /php, well, no, phpMyAdmin. Let's say /JS. Access forbidden, because that's a 403. So we know it's there. The 403 at 1013 bytes or 1013 characters is not necessarily terrible. That we can still fuzz that and find information inside. So I'm going to let that go, but notice how much cleaner our output is. Notice how we're really only getting back whatever it is that we specified for, like /, so on and so forth. No, it does not stand for hide header. I just think of it as like hushing a certain response size or the number of characters returned in bytes. No headers involved in this one. This is that time that we call it. I used to be on a red team, and these types of moments we would refer to them as pen testers with their feet up. These are those kinds of moments. Just waiting. Let's go ahead and check out that robots.txt and blow that up. All right, manual, 2.2, add-ons, disallow admin, user agent, htdig, stress agent. I'm not really seeing too much. What do you guys think? Okay, let's take a look. So we have add-on modules, manual, all our email addresses. Let's take a look at what this comes back as. We're just going to take our time with this one here, guys, today. We're going to take our time. Object not found. Requested URL was not found on this server, so it looks like that was a bad, unless it includes our underscore, which I do not think it will. Got like a clogged, I got sinuses today. I got sinuses. Yeah. Let's paste this in here. Yeah, object not found. Hostname link in the 404. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these results over. Still waiting for any other suggestions. I'm just going to copy over directories. Sorry, I'm on a touchpad here, so it is not always simple. And we'll go down under directories in the web root, paste that right there. And we'll grab our files up here that came back. And let's put that under files in the web root. I'm going to get rid of, just trim this up a bit. I don't care about the favIco. We have an index, which we haven't even checked yet. Can we check the index? Yes, absolutely. Let's go ahead and start checking out the index. So it says something is under construction. Enter an email address. Okay. View the source. That is one of our suggestions. Viewing the source. Let's take a look around. Vendor, jQuery, JS main, vendor tilt. Subscribe. By the way, happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. Website is under construction. Follow us for an update now. So nothing really too much standing out. I don't care so much about CSS. Maybe vendor. I might fuzz out more detailed. Maybe I'm interested in that. All right, I'm going to take a look at some suggestions in the chat. Let's see what we got. Is the site under construction? Maybe there's a dev subdomain. I like that. So testing and busting subdomains. All right. With regards to that, let's actually go back to Cherry Tree. And on 80, I'm going to put this. This is a suggestion I've not really seen too much before, but I would have liked to have seen. So great job. Busting subdomains. Emphasis on this one, when you're doing engagements, please, in the real world, let's say you do get hired, you're on a team, please, 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 please. Please speak with your CISOs, your BISOs, your stakeholders, your project managers to make sure that busting subdomains or a single top level, or let's just say like some domain, right? Top level, that anything over here you are capable of fuzzing. So capable of busting for subdomains. The reason for this is we don't want to go out of scope. I'll teach you guys how to do it. Just make sure that you are really careful when you do that in the real world. So Nicto, someone says Nicto, I like it. Nicto -- host on URL, and let's let it run. Nicto power. What else is, maybe we can learn a little bit something else today, guys. I know you see me use this type of stuff a lot, right? But let's go, for me, I have it in seclist. My seclist is in the optional directory. That's totally preference. I've gotten PMs on this. This is like totally preference stuff. We at Offensive Security and the Kali team has actually gone out of their way to add seclists to the repository. So if you want, you can app-get and install-yes seclists. And it'll place seclists in your /user share I think it is at least user share installs to user share seclists, I believe. Yeah. User share seclist. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Apt-get and install-yes seclists. That way you don't have to keep it in your op directory when you're building your stuff, you're building your commands out, your aliases to be efficient and fast. You have seclists present. It doesn't take long. It's only 387 megabytes. You can see we're already 60% done. Word list for seclists, yes. If you recall correctly, correct. You do. You definitely do. So now that it's, well, reading database and unpacking. You do. Digital Warhead says, isn't it ironic it's called the show me state, just don't show me the source? It is a little bit ironic. A little bit ironic. So our Nicto scan is done, and we don't want that to go to waste. Even if it didn't come back with too much, I'm going to copy it, and we're going to bring that over to our cherry tree as well. So let's go ahead, a whole bunch of HTTP not found variables for mod negotiation, for brute forcing file names. I'm going to drop that for now. No CGI directories. That's fine. I don't care about the clickjacking right now, XSS protection, X content type options. Apache is out of date. I'll keep that around just in case. And what really stands out is that we have post capability from the web root forward, which means somewhere here there's probably something that we can post to just by reasonable deduction. So we didn't get much back there. Our seclist is installed. Let's lsa user share seclist. Ta-da! I was actually correct. Sanity check there. So you can go ahead and install that on your own machine. But I have it in opt because I believe it is optional. But nonetheless, we're going to go to seclists, and let's take a look at discovery and web content, and take a look. So just look at this, guys. Look at how enormous the web content directory is for seclists. Quite large. So you always see me using the raft ones, right? Raft large, raft medium files and directories. What if we use a different one? What if we use directory list 23 big? So that's 15 megabytes against 1.8 megs, 1.9 megs. There's a 13 megs up here, lowercase. Let's try this one. I'm going to copy it. The cool thing with this is because I have my commands preloaded, I just up arrow, I use control and left arrow, and I paste it right here, and you know, that's good. Even if I wanted to on top of that, I could change up the environment variable with an extra / because we're testing for directories, and then let it fly. And we'll actually allow 999 for the sake of this. Let me see if I'm curious to see if that 999 corresponded to 403s or not. How did I find myself using one over another? Oh my god, dude, just years. That is a great question. Years of experience. I've used so many. I've even gone so far as to make my own. There is nothing in here saying you can't create your own payload list. Cough, cough, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There's nothing saying that in your free time with a cup of coffee, you can't go through these, make your own called, my super list that's something like 200 megabytes of, straight text, right? So there's nothing you can't, saying you can't do that. A lot of people ask that question, and it's like, well, yeah, you could totally make your own, you know what I mean? Directory list 2.3 medium is a solid one. Yes, it is, Jester. Yes, it is. And if you go up to the top here, you'll see this one is 127,000. 300, or no, is that 1,273,833 possible directories? Yeah, that is a million. So I'm just going to let this go to make sure that we have the single most thorough. Usually for the sake of a demonstration or a stream like this, I won't. And I'll use something very, very targeted, very effective, about, 60, 70,000 payloads. But this is 1.3 million. This is like a thorough kind of list. Plus my cat, I think, wants in. And I don't think you want to hear her crying, so I will be right back, and we're going to let this go. It is definitely a pen tester with their feet up kind of moment. Increase threads, since it is locally hosted anyway. It's going pretty fast, man. It is. We're already at about 10K. We're already about 10K. So let's give this about 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to run, and we'll see what it comes back with. Yes, 10K of a million, though I'm definitely not letting it go all the way through a million, don't worry. Someone says go back to FTP. In the meanwhile, I'm down with that. I am actually down with that. Let's echo out the IP again. Or let's export the IP. Let's exit this. And I am going to echo out the IP here. And what were you thinking, Alfred? What were you thinking with port 21 with FTP? We don't have anonymous access. So we'd be down to pretty much brute force, but we don't have any users gathered. Look at our users here, our credentials. We have 0 users, 0 passwords. A UDP port scan would take about as long as this, if not longer. I've seen UDP port scans go for days in host discovery stages. The exploit we saw in SearchSploit, yes, okay. Well, let's take a look. Does it require authentication? Let's take a look. So let's go SearchSploit, Pro FTP. I like it, I like it. Let's go to our vulnerabilities directory so we can copy it here. 1.3.3c. Might not be exact, but let's take a look. You never know. Let's SearchSploit -m to copy it to the current directory. And there it is. And let's nano 15662.txt. On Sunday, the 28th of November 2010, the main distribution server, etc., 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 show me a proof of concept. What do we have? Rootkit patch, MD5 sums. Okay, is this a C? Oh, it's a C payload. What does it require? On socket establish. So we have our IP, signal, alarm. I'm going to let this go for about another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to pull the demonstrator card if I have to, but I want the point to be very much driven home. Let me get my cat. 1 sec. Okay, sorry about that. I had to grab my cat. Okay. Let's see. Socket. Yeah, there's the socket handler. I think it might be using anonymous access. If sock.socket af inet socket address exit failure, where is our payload? Where is our payload? Define command. Here we are. Get AB. HTTP 1.0. Fascinating. Diff. Test.c. This seems pretty convoluted right now. This is like old days, guys. This is old days. This is exploit number 15,000 to give you an idea. This is super old school. This is somebody who copy and pasted a diff file, it looks like, and mashed it all together. Mash initialization. All right, so we're not really getting anything too much back from our discovery of directories. Does anybody have any further ideas? What if we try a more condensed one, a different but more condensed one? LSLSA, opt, seclist, web content, or discovery. Web content. And what if we tried, instead of 15 megs, remember guys, I'm going to take you down a few false roads because I feel that if beginners see me going down a false road, but I believe that false road can teach you a valuable lesson, then that is exactly what I'm going to do, you know what I mean? And my computer's about to die. It needs to be plugged in. So there we are. So let's look at some other word lists. We had that one as a suggestion. This one is not so bad. Directory list lowercase, but it's medium. This one is even less. Directory list lowercase small. So after, what is this, 30,000 requests, let's go ahead and terminate this. And I also wanted, somebody gave the suggestion of adding more threads, and I want to be able to show that or demonstrate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace the text file here with directory list lowercase. And how would we do that? Yes, Alfred says, as long as it helps us avoid false roads during the OSCP. You got it, man. You're getting it for sure. You guys are in the right place. So if we want to add on more threads, wouldn't that be something like -t? How many threads do we want? How many threads, guys? $500 threads? My goodness, are you trying to kill my processor? Goodness, how about 200? Someone says 40. Someone says 2. 2 threads? How about 50 threads? All right, 50 threads. And too many arguments. Oh, we might have to put that before. Okay. So how many requests does this one have? Oh, 81,000. And we've increased the threads. So, I mean, we're almost already at 1K. I did 50. 50 to 75 threads. Usually this is a faulty idea, but I want people to understand why. So guys, why would it be a bad idea in a real engagement to use 50 threads? I feel like we're learning a lot this machine. I really do, which that makes me happy. And we've done so many machines together, but I feel like we're learning a lot of other stuff. Denial of service conditions, perhaps. Although during an engagement, if you're doing siege testing during an engagement and something does come down, honestly, that just gets added to the findings. You're doing it in a testing private environment anyway that mirrors something like production. It is noisy. It is noisy for sure. What about IDS systems? Too loud, getting caught. Yeah, I'm not so much worried about doing a real world test in a testing environment that they have already set up for the intent of sieging, absolutely sieging these networks. I'm not so worried about that. In fact, that's our job. I have my cat trying to open my door. It's scary when a cat learns to open the door. I don't know if anybody here has had that experience. But in the real world, oh, there's GitWeb. That's pretty interesting. So we've got something. We're getting stuff. In the real world, I would really, if I was fuzzing in the real world, I'd go like 1 or 2 threads, guys. 1 or 2 threads. It's known as zombie busting. Psst. It's known as zombie busting. Or at least that's the slang for it. But zombie busting is where you don't really care about the speed, and the idea is like in all the zombie movies, you see it very slowly walk off and then hit the door with its head, right? And then come back and hit again. That's known as, like an Nmap T0, right? Just super slow. In the meantime, let's check out GitWeb. GitWeb. Access forbidden. Sadness, sadness, sadness. So we didn't get it back. Now, that's because the medium one is not going to have this. But I am going to cat/opt secless. I'm going to pull the demonstrator card. You guessed it. Oh yeah, buddy. I'm pulling the demonstrator card. That is for the sake of time. Opt secless discovery web content, and we'll cat do directory list 2.3 big.txt, and we're going to grep-i for OpenEMR. And you'll see that eventually, if we were to have let the larger one go for a longer period of time, we would have come across OpenEMR. We would have found it. So that's the demonstrator card for this particular demonstration. But I'm going to go up here and we're going to put under here that, let's pretend we're patient penetration testers, which we should be. That's the lesson. That's the lesson. /OpenEMR is what would have come back. Fantastic. So let's go in here, and what is OpenEMR, guys? Is anybody familiar with the internet? What is OpenEMR? Whoa! Version 4.1.0. Slightly off topic, but Hack Me released a room deal with EMR today too. What a coincidence! I guess it is. That is actually a coincidence, man. Pretty coincidental. This is so hit or miss. It's really not a miss thing. The idea to take home from this is that if you're patient in the real world with larger lists and a right amount of threads, then, and you spend a day or even 2, I wouldn't say 2, but about a day just in the background, slowly sending these requests and being patient like a freaking zombie, exactly, Jester, then you would have found this. It is hidden in there. Yeah, hacking a server is rarely a 1-hour effort. So I'm going to even put that as a take. I love that quote. Hacking something is rarely a 1-hour effort. I like that, JX Crow. I'm going to put on there, that is JX. That was JX. Good quote. Good quote, good quote. It is rarely a 1-hour effort, guys. Real world, it is rarely a 1-hour effort. So we have OpenEMR. I'm going to put that under this, under port 80, that we have OpenEMR. Version 4.1.0. I really hope my cat doesn't knock over my energy drink. 1 second. If the machine is known ahead of time to be intentionally vulnerable, then yeah, it can be a 1-hour effort. If you've been doing this for many years, there might even be other tricks to discovering OpenEMR. But take away concepts, be patient. Be patient, dude. Be patient, my friend. Be patient. I just downed half of an energy drink in a matter of seconds because I do not want my cat to knock it over and spill it onto a laptop. I'd rather down it. But we have 4.1.0, so let's go ahead and go to search exploit and search for OpenEMR. Sure enough, 4.1.0 has an SQL injection. Cool. Someone wanted to see my bring me it script. I'm going to go to my vulnerabilities directory, type bring me it, which is just a script located in my bin directory that I made called bring me it. I think this is before search exploit had the -m option, and I copy, the relative. I just copy this over here, and then I paste it in, and it brings it to the current directory. Very simple script, very, very simple. But let's see. So it says it has an SQL injection. That sounds pretty snazzy. I like SQL injection. So SQL freaking injection. Great. Let's take a look at the payload. Payload number 49,742. Verified weaponized code. Scroll through here. I know that this is SQLI. So what are we looking for in here? I'm intentionally moving up and down very quickly. I don't want you to see it. What are we looking for in there, guys? I'm not even gonna tell you. We're looking at an SQL injection. SQL injection. When I open that payload, when I open that Python file, what are we looking for as professionals? What are we looking for? Given the type. Table databases, negative. We're talking about this specific exploit. Sometimes exploits do not work out of the gate. The payload that it's using, correct. So the endpoint. I want the endpoint. Look at all this code. Look at all this fancy snancy code. Fantastic. What's the endpoint? Why? Because I want to do a little customization in my SQLI. I like that. Look at that. All we really needed from this ridiculously long Python payload is just this. So I'm going to export my URL to be this. And that is /OpenEMR, and we're going to have to actually change up the IP 192.168.1.171 on port 80 /OpenEMR interface login validate user.php parameter is u with the value of null for now. Perfect. Now what are we going to do? Yes, I hear Zardox. Now the suggestions are flooding in. So SQL map. That's absolutely. So we're gonna do that here. I'm gonna type out common, and I have a bunch actually for SQL map, but we're gonna do. You know what? We'll do this manual. I just wanted. So we're gonna say SQL map -u for URL at the target URL. What are some things that we might want to put on here, guys? --os shell. I like it. Very funny. That might work, but let's say we don't do --os shell. Someone says risk level. What else might we look for? Okay. Password file. How about we just see what we get back? Can we get back a list of databases? I'm going to type --dump. And we're just gonna roll with this. That's all I'm gonna type. --dump. And let's see what we get. Oh, and also I'm gonna tack on --batch. Batch is basically just saying -yes to everything. Similar to apt -get and install -yes something or -y. So you don't have to type in a y for everything. It's just auto yes, So --batch. And you can hear my cat. He just loves the idea. We already have get parameter u is MySQL 5.0 and error-based where having order by or group by clause injectable. That's good news. That is good news. Let's see what we get back. I am going to hit Control C. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on here. Hold on here. Open EMR, retrieved current, fetching current database. Okay, open EMR. So this could go for a long time. Holy cannoli. Holy cannoli. We are, dude, the loot bag. Exactly. The emojis in the chat. Just witness the amount of data being exfiltrated from this medical platform. Just witness, my friend, all of this information. If this is not comedic in a very sad way to you, then I don't know what is. Take the database, leave the cannoli. I think Jester gets the idea. This would already be a critical... My cat gets the idea. Yeah, he gets it. Don't you get it, buddy? Cosmos, do you get it? Yep. Database exfiltration. That's already a critical in our book. You want to say hi to everybody? Want to say hi? All right. No SQL Mac on... that's right. And that is why our takeaway concept was to find the endpoint. Prod LSD says, yeah, there's not going to be any SQL map on the OffSec exams. You are correct. You are 100% correct. And with that fact, I would say that is where you would have to know your manual, enumerate out the database, your columns, the version. My God, there are a lot of things that we teach in our web course, the Web 200 and the PWK, regarding SQL injection manually. But the important, what's my cat's hacker alias? Jester, it's Cosmo Hacker 9000. He's the Cosmo Hacker 9000. But the important takeaway concept is that looking through a whole payload, if we find that exploit, we then have an endpoint to work with for a content management system, some given web application, a webmail system, web administrative interface, whatever it might be on the web that has the SQLI. We want that endpoint so that we can start doing some manual enumeration. So I am going to cancel this. Cancel, cancel, cancel. I'm going to kill name SQL map just so there's no zombie process. And I am going to specify that I am interested in just the OpenEMR database. I am further going to specify with -t that for any string that contains any table, that is any T for table that contains user in it or users, that's the one I'm interested in, because they may have OpenEMR underscore users. It may be project underscore users. It may be any of that. I'm saying whatever you pull back with the group concat command or whatever SQL map is going to say, cough, cough, I'm interested in anything that contains the string users. So with that being done, and then again, batch is going to dash yes everything, and we want it dumped to our output. Let's try that. Okay, wow. We're already getting a lot back. And hashes and users and cancel. Pause. Okay, so we have hashes, which means we have credentials, which means we could have access. So we're going to go in here and type in credentials, admin. We have this. Under admin, it was able to get back this hash. And there was another one. I saw another one. You guys saw that, right? Yep, medical. We have this. So we got two hashes. Probably SHA-1? Well, let's find out. Hash identifier, paste it in, and that is in fact SHA-1. Correct. What I'm going to do, I'm going to Control C out of this, clear this out, and go back and clear this out. Open this up, go to crackstation.net, and I'm going to paste it in. So this was the medical hash, crack hashes, and it came back with the result perfect of medical. So we have medical with the password of medical. What about the admin hash? Has this ever been hashed up and cracked before? I'm not a robot. Crack hashes. Maybe I am a robot. Maybe I'm just an AI, right? Akbar. So admin and Akbar. Fantastic. Or not Akbar. Akbar. Great. So we have exactly a PL4G crack station. I mean, you could use Hashcat, you could use John, with RockU, your own manipulated word list, your own rule sets, but I like to check crack station. Nonetheless, in a real engagement, you would not want to do that. You would want to use your own. You have your own little private crack station already set up. But continuing right along, let's go ahead and type in admin. No, it was admin Akbar and log in. And we're logged in as the administrator on this platform. Almost bling bling. We're almost to the bling bling. Bling bling, as they say. Yes, Jester Juco. Bling bling, my friend, indeed. We are there. So this is a content management system, guys. It may be for medical, but this is a CMS. And I'm going to go to takeaway concepts, CMS. And you guys know that I love the web. It's my deal. So I am going to say, what are just a couple things that come to our mind when we think compromised CMS? When we think compromised CMS, what are things that come to mind? All right, so we have Jester saying code execution via plugins, modules, extensions, and templates. Holy cannoli, you got it. You got it. File upload vulnerabilities. Abso-freaking-lutely. Database, let's say sensitive database information or configurations. Okay, we're cooking. What are some other things we want to look for in a content management system? Just off the top of the bat. If we didn't have it before, versioning information. Versioning information. What about getting back? Yeah, web server info. Absolutely. Sometimes CMSs, all the time actually, will have some kind of information panel that'll just give out lots of juicy information, man. Lots. But what else? Configuration. So configuration, I'm going to add to that. You say config files with credentials. I'm going to say configurations for user permissions. You know, can we bump our user permissions up to be able to do something like file upload or access server information? Can we bump up our permissions? On the topic of bumping up, can we bump down? What's that called if we bump it down? If we bump down the security, or more specifically the integrity of the CMS by uploading a malicious extension, module, plugin, or template, what is that known as? What type of attack? Correct, Zardox, the downgrade attack. Can we bump it down? Can we downgrade this, the integrity? Can we upload a backdoor? Can we revert to a previous version? Something that will bring back the posture, bring back. So bypasses, what type of bypasses are we talking about? There's a million, my friend. There's a million. Let's be a little more specific on that one, if we can. All right, I like authentication bypass. That really refers back, though, to login forms and authentication. We're talking about we've already compromised. See here, compromised CMS. Command injection on diagnostic tools. Dude, I love it. I love it. Diagnostic tools. Yes, dude. Okay, diagnostic tools. Is there any system level exec happening? Command injection, perhaps? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Let your brains just stir with ideas. What else can we learn about this? We've just compromised the CMS. Look at all these things here. Running jobs. Can we schedule any system level jobs? Perfect. B Blanco. Perfect. Cron jobs. How many times have you seen a CMS that lets an admin say, yo, do you want me to run something every 5 to 10 minutes? Like, PS, I know you've configured everything, but, you know, your web CMS also can let, you know, schedule a cron job, you know what I mean? So absolutely. Can we schedule any system level jobs? That's a good list. The one I haven't seen that's staring us in the face is administration. There's always going to be an admin panel, and look at what we have access to. Backups. Can we download backups and read them locally? Exfil sensitive data. Can we modify or downgrade access control lists? Making our own world writable directory, for example. Cough, cough. Making our own there. Globals. Can we change global variables, lists? Obviously, this one stands out, right? Files. So this says var www.html open EMR sites default, right? Files is likely very useful. So this is a lot of takeaway, guys. I like that was very machine gun like. I like it. That was surgical. A lot of ideas in a very short period of time. And it'll be for you personally, as you gain experience, all of those things will be just off the fly. I promise. But we are in credentials gathered. Let's say credentials gathered for admin and exfiltrated. Logged in via OpenEMR authentication. We accessed administration into files, and we have anything in here that stands out. I see a config. Why is a config particularly juicy? Why would we go to modify a configuration file? Database credentials, not exactly. Good guess though, good guess, I like it. Reverse shells, I mean, obviously we have code execution, right? So generally a content management system is going to have something, right? Like PHP is going to do some kind of include .php or whatever it might be. It's going to do an include on each and every one of its pages. So here we have main screen.php. I'm going to, as a penetration tester, I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to say that config.php is loaded and included in main screen.php. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide ourselves a preserve statement to preserve output and execute PHP that says pass through and execute the get variable cmd. Period. That's all we're going to do. And we're going to close this up so it's nice and tidy. And can we save this? Where can we? If we scroll to the bottom, oh, there's a second one over here. And we hit save. And I think that's just it. I think it just saved. Let's check back. Config.php. Okay, so it did. So what we're going to do is, you can't see this, but this is our endpoint. What I'm going to do is blow this up so you guys can see it. We now have this endpoint, modified config.php for backdoor exec. And I'm going to say cmd equals id. Hopefully you guys can see that. I've enlarged the font size. So we're going to say cmd equals id. Smash the return key. Dude. Who wants to say it? Nice. Absolutely. So that's code execution right there. If I lsa the root file system, oh, it's so good. And because we put it in preserve statements, if I do a right click, view page source, see how we have this wrapped in preserve statements? That essentially makes it very close to having like a terminal, like this, you know, or something. So it's very, very similar. I just like that. So let's go ahead and I have a command called rev shells. I'm just gonna grab a bash reverse shell, copy it, # it. We're gonna wrap it with single apostrophes. So I'm saying bash command perform everything that is inside of here. Everything that's inside of here. And we're gonna replace this port with 9090. We'll set up a netcat listener on 1.1, come back to 1.6 actually. And let's copy this. If I can get it just like this. And what are we gonna need to do with it? What are we gonna need to do with it? I'm going to use Mayor Web encode decode. You can obviously do this in Burp Suite as well. I mean, honestly, this has been a really old going thing, but I encode this for the URL, for URL encoding. And instead of the CMD of ID, I'll paste in our shell. Now I'm going to set up a netcat listener on 9090. And it is listening on any 9090. I'm going to smash the return key, and we have a shell. We've compromised the machine. Bling bling indeed. We're in. We are in. So do we have a valid TTY? Of course not. Of course not. Let's go ahead and get one. I'm going to type my breakout command. This is available on sirensecurity.io if you want to grab this. Breakout, get that TTY. So I'm going to use Python to break out. We're going to export some paths. We're going to export the terminal to be 256-bit color, alias LL to clear the screen and list everything else in a human readable format by size and apply color. We're going to scare everybody half to death and Control Z. And then we're going to use stty raw-echo into the foreground and reset command. Return key twice, and I'm going to set a ridiculous amount of columns and rows. We're going to exit out of that terminal, and now, well, we're going to have to re-export, I think, this term here. I think we need to get that. Okay, it's not going to like, oh, you know what, cat, that's the issue. Aha, that's why. Export term equals Linux. Now try. Bingo. So there's a little something else you might learn. Export term equals Linux. But the idea now is, watch this. I can launch any executable on this machine now, and I can Control C out of it, and I don't have to worry about losing my place on the machine or losing my shell. It's a stable shell. I don't have to worry about accidentally hitting Control C and losing it. We're here, we're good. So with that being said, let's go to var temp. Let's check any world writables. And I'm just going to go down the list. We have a setup dump. Let's check out the temp directory. In fact, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because this one is dragged on. Yes, Alfred, it is privesc time. It is privesc time. Dev shim. Anything in there? Nope. Let's check out the optional directory. Okay, Google apt upgrade team viewer. Fascinating. Lib and share. Let's check out the home directory. There are 3 users, lslsar/home. We have events for MySQL, permission denied to any of the home directories though. That's probably going to be an ACL. But because we're www data, we're not going to be able to access that. But we could maybe switch user to medical. If we're lucky, we can switch user to medical with the password of medical. And we are now medical. That's password reuse. So we're going to go in here, and on our post, we're going to say that we had password reuse for user medical. And that is lateral movement on the machine. Lateral movement. Let's start reading the chat. At OffSec official, what terminal multiplexer do you prefer? Right now, man, I like i9. i9 has made some serious headway recently. I'm liking i9, but the truth is I've been using Terminator since the days of old, my friend. Since the days of old, I've been using Terminator. You know, I've just been using Terminator forever. And it is pretty nice. It's very customizable as well. Never heard of it. I9, that's fine. Terminator is awesome. Tmux, if you want to rock Tmux, that's totally cool. Sometimes you're going to be on a red team and you guys might be sharing a particular resource. In that case, you might want to use something like screen to run your commands. If you're ever on a red team, shout outs to your team if you do use screen. Because when you're a team and you're performing, utilizing the same resource, but you're having something go in the background for days on end, you definitely want to use something like screen to run the command. Oh, I might mean i3. My bad, dude. My bad. But what's the name of the terminal? I like Terminator with Tmux. I have Bash. I use Bash with Terminator. So my shell is Bash, and my interpreter is going to be Terminator. But we're going to continue along here. We have password reuse, right? That's glorious. So can we do anything? Sudo -l? Oh, sudo command not found. Let me make sure we export some distro global and sudo -l. Which locate? Locate sudo? Var run sudo. So var run sudo -l is a directory. Okay, that's ending in a directory. gk sudo user bin gk sudo -l cannot display. All right, so we don't have sudo, it looks like. Let's psaux grep -i. What's running is root -- color equals auto. Do we have anything? Let's do down through. See, it's very lightweight here. Down through the square brackets. What's below here? This suggestive hauled runner sounds cool. We got cron hauled out on storage. Might be hinting at something there. udev, hello. If plug, and that's about it. What does the network look like? Do we have any neighbors? netstat-ton-lp, netstat-ant-up. Let's see here. You guys are saying, does anyone, OreoBite says, does anyone, I'm afraid I don't know what you are saying. Does anyone what? Kernel version. Yeah, let's gather information on the machine. Uname -a, right? I'm gonna copy all this actually. Kernel version, back burner. In fact, oh wait a second. I have this. Compilation of capabilities for compiling which GCC, which CC. So we do not have the ability to compile locally. File on bin bash is a 32-bit LSB that is to specify NoPy executable. And let's go ahead and check cat/etc issue. I'm going to go ahead and grab this information. If we were to ever compile, we have all the information we would need. Cat etc *release. Let's go ahead and go through here. Copy this. And we have pretty much everything that we would need for a kernel payload. But that is going to be on the back burner, guys. I want emphasis on that. That is totally like stuff that just exists on the back burner. Look for passwords. She probably doesn't want to finish it in 10 seconds. Yeah, you're totally correct. I don't want to finish this in 10 seconds because I would like you guys to, I'd like to drill in some privesc knowledge. You know what I mean? I'd like to drill it in. We already tried all that sudo stuff. Let's see, which MySQL? MySQL-user root-p root. MySQL-user root-p. Okay, so we have root unauthorized access. So show databases, and we have test. Let's say use test, show tables, nothing there. Use OpenEMR, show tables, and yeah, we have pretty much everything here. So that is straight up root unauthorized access, but I am going to exit out of that. And I'm going to put that we have, yes, root unauthorized access. And that's bad. That's very bad. Very bad. Like Raptor comes to mind. There's a real user on the machine. It's Unix based, and we have MySQL. Raptor starts coming to mind. Raptor is a very popular kind of SQL injection. So let's take a look at the mail. Var mail. No mail. Let's take a look at Etsy. Anything not made by roots or root shadow. Root shadow. That is to say, was anything created by a user? Medical did something. Medical did something to the M tab, which is kind of in conjunction with our PSAUX grep-i root color equals auto. And the reason for that is because if we cat Etsy fstab, we might notice, or we type mount, we might notice some different mount structures. But we have permission denied to that M tab. What are the permissions on Etsy password? So standard permissions, we can't write out to that. But let's go ahead and check for extended capabilities. Get cap -r on / will redirect any errors to dev null. And it doesn't look like we had that. Maybe it was a capital R? Nope, nothing there. I just don't think on this machine we have that. Yeah, we did check the netstat. If config, we already have, we know that this is a private machine here off ETH1. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and check for varlib. Yes, I'm steering away from it intentionally. I would like you guys to learn some things. Here is a collection of all the fun, fancy things that this machine really likes to do, or this particular distro. Let's check out vardb. 0 in here, nothing there. But at least we looked. What file transfer capability do we have? Curl, we have wget. Is netcat here? Yeah, we have everything. We're not gonna have fetch because that's BSD based. See, no fetch. But that's already like super thorough. If we want to be even more thorough, we could, set up a shell like pspy32, because if we run file on benbash, it is a 32-bit operating system. But we're gonna go to Linux post. This is available on my blog. We're gonna check for suids, and we're gonna check for GUIDs. And there's a lot of suids coming back. Like, God, man, look at all of these suids and GUIDs. So I'm gonna copy these, and we're gonna load these into Cherry Tree. I'm just gonna straight up overwrite these so it's more legible. You know what I mean? And anything stand out as particularly exotic? Health check does. GPG potentially. S-Perl. Maybe we can exec bin shell with that. Is sticky bit, suid sticky bit. Batch, pu mount. File share reset. These are all very uncommon ones that just stand out to me. pkexec, yeah, but that's standard. That doesn't really, that's not out of the ordinary though. Okay. So, yeah. What stands out to me is something known as health check. So is anybody familiar with health check? Let's go ahead and give this a run. Obviously, you're not going to find this on GTFO bins. It is just not there, unfortunately. Fortunately, is not there. So what we're going to do is instead, we're going to go to var temp, and we're going to run user bin health check. System health scan running, and it looks like it's doing a lot of iteration through our paths. It's doing a check on file size left, scanning system. So if we wanted to get fancy, path hijacking, you got it, Oreo, you got it. We're going to do a type of privask known as a path hijack. So does anybody want to tell me the premise behind what a path hijack is going to do? Anybody at all? Anybody want to tell me what a path? Any ideas? Oreo? Path, yeah, setting our path, right? Correct. All right, so here's what we're going to do. The premise behind doing this, if we echo out the path variable, let's take a look at what we got. This is very reminiscent of the one that we exported. In fact, I'm just going to do that for emphasis, export path. I'm going to make my own here. Clear this out and echo the path environment variables. So everything that's tabbed out along the command line, everything that's discoverable is going to be in these paths. When we run user bin health check, it goes and iterates through everything in our path environment variables. If we type env, here it is, the big one, path. It's going to go specifically based upon the path. And it's going to start pulling these things apart, executing them, checking for various things. You can check out the man page on health check if you like. So the idea or the premise here is that we're going to echo out some payload, right? Some payload to a file, and we're going to append that to our path. So we're going to say, I'll echo out bin. Is bash present here? This isn't Z shell, right? Okay, yeah, it is. Let's echo out bin bash out to, I don't know, OffSec. And we are in the var temp directory, world writable, just as a bit of reference. We're going to chmod 755 on OffSec. And then what we want to do is just export our own path again to be var temp, because this is the one we're living out of, right? And also append with a colon on the pre-existing paths, okay? That way we don't overwrite. If we just did this, export path equals this, then whenever we try to execute something, man, it would not work. Because it's just not going to work. It's not going to have all the environment pathing variables. So we need to append those pathing variables that are pre-existing, and that's what we're going to do. Now that we've done that and we have our payload, we're just going to run user bin health check and cross our fingers. Nothing happened. Unfortunate. So can anybody tell me what went wrong? Okay, someone says appending -p. I like it. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say bin bash -p out to OffSec. That's fine. That's fine with me. And then user bin health check. Why might this not work? Why might this not work? What if we man health check? Oh, no man entry for it. So the way health check works is it's going to be looking for a file, right? It's going to be looking for a file type. Let's move OffSec to something called fdisk. This is a type of binary that health check is going to be looking for in our pre-existing paths if we echo those out. Fdisk. Did you notice the if we type fdisk, well, that's just going to do that. But fdisk, the binary fdisk, if we do find from / in the name, anything for fdisk across the machine, any errors to dev null. We have user bin fdisk. And this is what? Do you guys notice here we have user bin, you see? So it's going to, the way health check is going to go is it's going to go through here. And if we run user bin health check, or actually, let's just say user bin fdisk. And well, it's going to run it with options. But the idea or the premise, what if we say -s /. So this is the kind of command that health check is going to run. It's going to utilize the fdisk binary. So we need to basically hijack that binary by appending our own path to a world writable directory that's going to contain the payload. So when it expects in the code, the binary is going to come along and it's going to expect fdisk. It's going to try and execute that, and that's going to in turn, instead of doing a bunch of file system operations like df-h, it's basically going to execute our payload instead. So let's say user, then health check. And we're root. Bling, bling. Yeah, file quote replacement, end quote. Heavy quotations there. So we're going to go to the root directory and cat root.txt. You tried harder. I like it, man. I love it. We tried harder. Good job, chat. Good job. So what I'm going to do now is what would we do at this point? We would type ifconfig, right? We'd cat the proof file, ifconfig for networking information. A little additional, we can type hostname. What's our privilege and effective authority over the machine? We type ID and or who am I? Who am I is great because it's operating system global as well. It'll work on Windows or Unix-based machines. But who am I? And then we'd shift print screen and get our networking and privilege information. And that would be utilized for your formal report. So with that, guys, I just want to show you something pretty cool. If we go to offensivesecurity.com, you can always check out our certifications by going to courses and certifications. We actually just launched a new update for a module that I wrote. And you can check out our syllabus by hitting Learn More for Web 200. Yesterday we launched a update for the Web 200 or the OSWA, that is Offensive Security Web Assessor Certification. If we go to /events, you can check out the latest events that we have upcoming. In this case, we have an Ask Me Anything with Jeremy Miller, aka Harbinger, and Jim O'Gordon, our Chief Content Strategy Officer. And that's all great. That's all good. So I am going to switch back here. And I want to thank you guys personally for being so supportive in this venture and for being here every Friday. I'm glad to, kind of be your guide in all of this. I just want to give you guys, as much as I can to prepare you for the OSCP, the Web 200, these certs that we offer, right? Any of the certs I'd like to prepare you for. Thank you, Ganuas. Thank you, guys. Happy Friday to everybody, indeed. Thank you, S1REN. You guys are welcome. And really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys very much. And we'd love to have you if you ever want to have a seat in one of our courses. We'd love to have you. So with that, guys, I will check you, or hope to have you again. Hopefully you check back this coming Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And thank you, Freeze, very much. As always, good guide. And I will see you guys then. Happy weekend. Happy Friday. Enjoy it. Get some rest. And I'll catch you guys next Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Ciao, ciao.